Hooters. Hooters! Hooters. The word means many things to many people. To some, owls. To others, the human boob. That which sits upon our chest and nourishes our young cum. To yet others, it means a chain of shitty restaurants where the waitstaff must be attractive young women forced to wear demeaning little shorts and endure what must be the least convincing sexual proposals anyone has ever received. Think of it like a strip club, but like for dudes that are heterosexual, but terrified of the sight of a naked woman. Also, probably the tips are worse. But to Nick Adams, parentheses, alpha male, it means something very different.
Dining at Hooters is a cornerstone of the American male experience. When the woke feminists and beta males attack Hooters, they aren't just attacking a restaurant that employs beautiful women to serve cold beer and hot wings. They're attacking the essence of American manhood.
That's right, this video is about some internet dingus. That's the framing device for this one, because I got nothing better to do, baby. It's just my Uber Eats guy.
Hooters stayed bussin' through the Iraq War and Barack Hussein Obama's recession. If 9/11 couldn't bring Hooters down, there's not a chance in hell Joe Biden can. No cap. Alpha males stan Hooters.
It means freedom. It means power. It means manhood. Freedom is when people are forced to pretend to be nice to you. Power is the ability to pay $21.99 for a platter of chicken wings so flavorless that, as far as I can tell from their busted-ass website, which is so fucking busted because no one under 50 is ever gonna go to this fucking restaurant, they don't even seem to offer a spicy option. Manhood is when women find you so repulsive that the only way you can get their attention is by going somewhere they're paid to pretend like they're sexually available to you.
The left hates this. Don't worry. The beer is Sam Adams Lager, and the wings are Hot Buffalo.
G'day guys, Nick Adams here. As all of you know, Hooters has been trending all day today.
Yeah, that's right. He's Australian. Bet you didn't see that coming. What a mildly surprising twist that is.
Hooters is one of the finest establishments and restaurant chains in the entire United States of America. On top of that, it is a cornerstone of American male education. The food is good, the drinks are good, the view is good. The left will not defeat the great Hooters. There is nothing better than Hooters.
It will come as perhaps no surprise that I do not share Mr. Adams' parentheses alpha male's view of the Hooters chain of restaurants. Though I will admit, I've only ever been inside one once when I performed at a comedy club that was also a Hooters in a KFC Taco Bell kind of situation. I remember the waiter coming up to me and asking me if I wanted a drink, and I couldn't look her in the eye because I kept feeling like, oh, I did this. This is my fault. I made this happen. I didn't create Hooters, but I didn't do anything to stop it.
Alpha males watch football at Hooters and play 36 holes of golf with the boys. Beta males play 9 holes with their wives and go to Chili's for the 2 for $20 deal. Do I want to do a 2 for $20 deal with you at Chili's? Absolutely not. An alpha male's choice in food can never be constricted for the sake of savings. I'll order what I want because I'm an alpha male. 2 for $20 is beta.
But of course I feel that way, bitter beta male pseudo-feminist leftist soy cuck that I am. I resent the sheer masculine energy of the institution, that particular manliness that is best summed up by those little belt clips for your cell phone. You know the ones. Your dad probably has one. It's a place for the type of manly man who buys his polo shirts at Costco because Old Navy is a little bit too gay for them. I simply don't have the alpha big dick energy to need a special restaurant where women pretend to like me. Hey everybody. I know what he's doing. I'm playing into his extremely obvious media strategy by giving him any attention at all. It is not a sophisticated plan that went over my head. It's very clear that he's deliberately being provocative so that people will call him a dipshit.
The metric system is socialist and must be wholly rejected in the USA. China, North Korea, and Canada, some of the most despotic and oppressive nations on Earth, use the metric system.
I get it. I know.
America needs more churches and less Fortnite stores. Tear down the Fortnite stores and open up more churches.
The whole point is to take a completely arbitrary stand, usually with some catchy, attention-grabbing, dumb aspect to it, like claiming that Hooters existed before feminism and soy milk, and then wait for someone to make fun of him so he can talk about how he triggered all the libs and he doesn't care who he offends. Very cool, very novel. Everybody's super impressed with your Machiavellian genius.
If wind turbines were murdering puppies and kittens at the same rate they murder whales and bald eagles, we'd have eradicated wind turbines from the face of the earth by now.
Because it would be ridiculous. How would the wind turbines kill whales, right? And everybody's going to be like, hey man, what a silly mistake you made. And then he gets all sorts of engagement. What a genius.
Foursome with the boys, domestic beer in the cart, ladies away at their par 3. They hate this.
Do you get it? Because he called it a foursome, right? And he doesn't get that. That makes it sound like they're all having sex together. And then everybody's going to say, hey, did you know what that sounds like? And he's going to get so much engagement. What a genius strategy.
Alpha male challenge. Go to your local grocery store and purchase the largest bag of M&Ms you can find. Destroy the bag of M&Ms you purchased and do not let one pass your lips.
Everybody's going to tweet and say, hey, buddy, you know, you just give him money to M&Ms and then he gets all this exposure and what a tricky guy. Did you think I wasn't going to talk about M&Ms this video, you fool? I snuck it in there. Nothing can stop me. I will never let M&M discourse die.
M&Ms have just released feminist M&Ms. Yes, you heard me right. Feminist M&Ms. Egregious sexism of the worst and most conceivable kind. It is outrageous, it is disgusting, and it must not stand. Let me say this loudly, let me say this clearly, let me say this unambiguously. Any male that buys a packet of M&Ms from today forward must hand in their man card until M&Ms rectify this grave wrong by giving us all male M&Ms. This boycott will remain. We will not stand for this at all. M&Ms?
Put down the woke M&Ms and pick up a 48-ounce bone-in aged ribeye steak and cold domestic beer. Every American with half a brain should be outraged by M&Ms going woke. This is no laughing matter. It's a legitimate crisis. Manhood is under attack like no other time in world history. I was at a bodega this morning when I saw a small boy ask his mother for some candy. As I saw her hand reach for a package of M&Ms, I cried out and left my place in line to stop her. Once I informed her M&Ms had gone woke, she thanked me profusely and opted for a Twix instead.
And I'm sure that strategy will buy him lots of credit with the stupidest people on the fucking planet. The absolute rubes, who will say, do, or critically buy anything if they think it has some modest hope of pissing off someone like me. I know that. I know that.
Hooters wings and curly fries on the table, cold domestic beer in hand, stay-at-home wife raising the kids, a day in the life of an alpha male. They hate this.
I'm here to tell you, it does not matter. We don't need to react for them to pursue this strategy anymore. They just live in their own little world where they say things and then pretend like we got mad even if we didn't.
Dear environmentalist liberals, you can take my gas stove out of my cold, dead hands.
So there's no doing anything about it. Let's just have some fun.
I have an IQ of 184 and I will not be shamed for it.
I believe men become this particular flavor of internet misogynist because they feel weak and emasculated, and blaming women is easier than self-reflection. It allows them to, in their minds at least, save face and not have to admit out loud that they feel shame about not living up to the nonsense version of manhood they've been conditioned to believe they should strive towards. They aren't capable violence doers, or they can't get laid, or maybe they can't get a decent job, and they've been taught that those three things in particular are what defines their success as a man. But also they've been taught that expressing any discomfort with this criteria, or any strong emotions in general, or needing any help, makes you a weak little bitch boy.
Times it is acceptable for alpha males to cry. The birth of your first child, your first hole-in-one, the national anthem, any occasion.
Crying, acceptable at funerals and the Grand Canyon.
Ron Swanson is an alpha male.
Inevitably, when the real world doesn't match their ridiculous expectations, it makes them feel like they're not good enough. And since they're forbidden from trying to change anything, feeling any pain because of it, or asking for help, it creates this tension that can only be resolved by either A, growing up and letting go of the bad ideas about what it means to be a man that ding-dongs have taught them, accepting that it's okay to need some help sometimes, because fucking everybody does, and that your material success and sick martial arts moves and body count are not what makes you a man, but rather, manhood should instead be thought of as more or less just adulthood for boys. Or B, if that's too hard, find someone else to blame so that they can continue to feel strong while not getting the things they think strong men should have. And you know what? Hey, you know who's not men? Women.
Alpha males don't just prefer the company of other alpha males, they require it. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17, alpha male bonding is biblical.
I don't know. That's how it seems to me anyway. I could be wrong, and it's possible I'm being too charitable towards weird, gross dudes here. It's worth pointing out that I myself am more man than woman. For now. So I'm sure I have all kinds of weird little hidden biases and my own little subconscious sexisms that I too must work on. I'm not an expert here. This is just how it looks like to me. My point is that if they're using these ideas and cultural symbols to feel strong, powerful, and cool, you know, like the type of person who goes to Hooters, the sillier you make them look, the less likely they are to be able to do that again. Although it does seem like the threshold for how silly they have to look before realizing they're being dinguses is higher than we might expect.
The latest issue of The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing comic book, features a scene where the Joker, a man, becomes pregnant. That's not how that works. I'm calling for a complete and total boycott of the Joker until further notice. I drink my coffee black. I eat my steaks rare and seafood raw. I like my beer domestic. I sit with my legs spread wide open. I am an alpha male, and no, I won't apologize for it. If you have to say you're an alpha male, you aren't an alpha male. I started my day with 4 raw eggs, an 18-ounce medium rare steak, and a black coffee. I am confident. I am bold. I am extremely attractive. I am wildly successful. I am charismatic. I am talented. I am intelligent. I am decisive. I am wise. I am masculine. I am unapologetic.
If you have to say you're an alpha male,
sometimes to a fault. I am
You are
brave.
an alpha
I am
male.
gifted. I am an alpha male.
So maybe the Hooters thing isn't enough. I don't know. I don't think these guys can physically feel the sensation of shame anymore.
Should the Bible and Constitution be separate? I don't think so.
The Constitution literally says they should be.
Where?
The First Amendment.
Kid Rock is the greatest musician America has. No cap. Virtually every single person I spoke to while in Australia missed Donald Trump and his swag. Some were salty about the mean tweets, but they all respected his grind.
Now, while I was making this video, a question kind of made the rounds on leftist internet. The question of whether or not the hashtag online left does enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, that's a very misguided question, in my opinion. Broadly speaking, the goal of the left should be to spread power to the most people possible. And so it should always be kind of harder to get people who already have unfair amounts of power on board. That's inconvenient, but it's also kind of unavoidable without diluting the goals we seek to achieve. It is never in the self-interest of the powerful to aid the powerless. That's the reason there are powerful and powerless people in the first place. And men, by and large, are more powerful than women. There are, of course, exceptions. There are intersections of other forms of oppression that can make individual people's stories different than the general trend. But like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting, often to not men. In virtually any circumstance where a man has a shitty time in life, if that man were a woman, they would be having a worse time, because they'd have all of their regular problems plus some new woman problems. Pointing out that this is unfair is always going to ruffle some feathers. It's going to make some men very mad, because they like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They don't care. They like that. They want it to stay that way, because it suits them. Because of the stuff? So those guys, they're never going to be on our side. We shouldn't want them to be on our side, because they're just going to fuck everything up. Right? Like, our side is meant to stop those guys. It's like saying we should be trying to appeal to billionaires to fund the left. That might be convenient, but to get them on board, we'd have to fundamentally change our goals. So if we want to achieve those goals, we have to be okay with alienating certain groups of people. Just pausing here because I don't think I did a great job of clarifying this point. I am not saying that dudes are unreachable. I'm saying that there are a portion of dudes who are unreachable. They're a small minority, but my point is that because most dudes are reachable and can be made to understand that actually sexism is bad, we therefore don't need to mollycoddle those who are too sensitive to hear that. Because chances are, if you don't like hearing that sexism is bad, if hearing that makes you not want to be cool or chill, then probably you weren't going to be useful as an ally. Also probably, you don't wipe your ass. There's a statistical likelihood that you don't wipe your asshole. Reactionaries will always be able to get a foothold in any group of people being made to grapple with the unfair power they benefit from. Telling people they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more. It just is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a kind of boom-bust cycle in capitalist economies. I think I'm the first person to point that out. But in recent times, they've gotten all the booms to go to a handful of jerks, and the rest of us been doing nothing but busting. Sorry, I'm just gonna take another take of that. The rest of us have been doing nothing but busting. Okay, but you know whose fault it is? It's the group of people that are trying to get their fair share. If they just shut up, you can have their share. That's easy. It's easy to get people on board with that. They understand the value proposition there. It's other people's shit, right? So there's a contingent that we're never gonna get. All right, there's some people that we're just not gonna win over. Because we can't offer them anything better than having other people's shit. Because that rules, just to have other people's shit. I would love to take shit from you. Patreon.com/thoughtslime. But also, men, by definition, are adults. They're capable of understanding the consequences of their actions and should be capable of understanding the point of view of other people. I believe enough in men to trust that most of them understand or could be made to understand the inherent dangers and cruelty of the patriarchy. Part of that understanding is going to be uncomfortable, but prioritizing male comfort over the safety of others isn't going to help. It's just going to reinforce those same problems and replicate them in the very spaces where we're meant to be figuring out how to stop them. And how do we stop those problems? Simple. We unionize Hooters. We need to have a Hooters union. That way, we can advocate to turn Hooters into anything that isn't Hooters. Like, for example, we could let the waiters wear pants. If they wanted to wear pants, they could do that. We could hire male waiters and let them wear the little shorts if they want to. In my opinion, and I don't really get to have an opinion, I do not myself work at Hooters, but in my opinion, an important part of the Hooters union I am proposing should be to fundamentally fuck up the brand of Hooters. Just make it confusing and uncomfortable for clientele and management alike, rather than for waitstaff. Like, I don't know. Maybe we could make everybody wear sexy owl costumes, make the customers wear sexy owl costumes. Nobody gets in without one.
Prince Harry has never set foot in a Hooters, and it shows.
But okay, let's assume we need to offer men a little treat. We need to give men a special reason why they should hop on board with the not being assholes school of politics. Let us assume, for the sake of argument, that men are moral babies, incapable of understanding right and wrong. They are only motivated by pure self-interest, but also base their entire sense of self on what gender they are. Okay, that's our starting position. Hey, have you ever noticed that the version of masculinity that guys like Adams promote is fucking miserable? That all of the little weirdos, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, the fresh and fit ghouls, they all propose this type of manhood that is just completely joyless and empty. A life of conspicuous consumption for its own sake, where the things you're meant to conspicuously consume are seemingly chosen for their inability to ever give you any material pleasure.
Water I drink is sparkling water, because sparkling water is for rich people. Sparkling water you have to buy. So if you only drink sparkling water, you only drink rich man's water. But I don't like sparkling. You don't like sparkling water? You don't like water? You're scared of bubbles, you little bitch?
Do you believe the accusations made against the top G, Andrew Tate?
Just eat shitty wings and drink shitty domestic beer, and if you do anything else, you're some kind of preening lib.
Alpha male New Year's resolutions. Dine at Hooters weekly. Drink only domestic beer. Absolutely no Fortnite.
A life of domination and struggle where you are alone against the entire world, and the only people you can depend on as allies are so inferior to you that you should think of them as like unto property. Where bonds between people are impossible, and the only way two human beings can relate to one another is through the veiled or not so veiled threat of violence.
If you're incapable of violence, not being violent isn't a virtue. People who teach martial arts know this full well, right? If you learn a martial art, you learn to be dangerous, but simultaneously you learn to control it. Both of those come together. And the combination of that capacity for danger and the capacity for control is what brings about the virtue. Otherwise, you confuse weakness with moral virtue.
A life of constant self-surveillance for any sign of deviant thinking or any behavior which steps even slightly out of the narrow confines of the arbitrary, prescriptive signifiers of manhood that you have been assigned. You're not a man if you like to eat salads or take too much care with your fingernails or feel the emotion of love. A life dedicated exclusively to cultivating loneliness, hyperaggression, and a contempt for anything which might broaden your horizons. Each and every new experience, every new sensation, new idea has the potential to have been placed there by someone trying to undermine you and steal your strength. An ever-present, ever-shifting, faceless enemy, always just out of sight, who has made it their life's mission to pervert and destroy you by making you think it's okay to hug your brother or some shit. That's like Delilah cutting Samson's hair. It's gonna destroy you. It's gonna take all your power away. You're not gonna be able to kill anybody with an ass's jawbone. The masculinity they propose is a prison, and I don't mean that allegorically. Like literally, it is a prison. It's designed to keep you in place, to restrict your freedom, to keep you compliant, isolated, and withhold anything which makes life worth living at all. For example, not having to eat at Hooters. It's like it's a mental prison, and they want to put everyone in it instead of the physical prisons where they only want to put not white people in. Think about it. They want you to eat cheap, flavorless slop and not complain about it. They want you to be isolated and all of your interactions with other men to be jockeying for positions of power so that you never work together to advocate for your collective rights. They want to enforce a culture of violence that serves both to control your behavior, like a prison guard, and to redirect your energy and passion away from attacking the oppressive system you find yourself within by pitting you against other people trapped within that system. Not unlike when they let prisoners go lift shit in the yard. You know, let them get it out of their system, otherwise they're going to beat us up. Your behavior is strictly controlled because it's assumed that left to your own devices, you're just inherently dangerous. You're a moral defective to be controlled. Deep down, you're an angry, violent brute, and the best you can ever hope for is to be able to direct that anger and violence in a positive direction, because it's impossible for you to ever be better. It's just baked in, it's just who you are, and trying to change it is just going to make it worse. Any deviation from the expectations placed on you is immediately suspect, is immediately viewed as a subversive attack. Like how prison guards will read your mail, just in case, just looking for any evidence you're plotting something. There can be no choice, no allowances for individuality, because the system can only ever work one way, their way. Little by little, more of the world is taken from you until all that's left is lifeless concrete. Hard, unfeeling, immovable. Strong, maybe, but brittle, easy to crack. And for all of these sacrifices, for shoving your life and personality, for shoving your entire humanity into this narrow little box, what do you get? It doesn't make you strong. You don't have the tools necessary to deal with emotional problems except through violence. That's weak. It doesn't make you independent. You're led around and told what you're allowed to do. That makes you submissive. And not in the fun way. And it doesn't make you happy, because, just fucking look at the guys telling you it will. They're all richer than you're ever gonna be, and they're miserable pricks. They're the saddest people on God's green earth. And here's the big one. You ready for this? It won't get you laid, because it's designed from the bottom up to make you repulsive to women. The whole grift falls apart if you ever even talk to a woman. They have to make you just immune to women being around you and in your life. Seriously, what do you get? What do you get for all of this? Like what? Well, you think women are trying to take men's power away? Buddy, I got news for you. Power you can only use how you're told to use, that's not power. Power is being able to do the things you want to do and not giving a damn what people expect. Cry if you want to cry, or don't. Watch romance movies if you want, or don't. But certainly don't eat at the gross titty restaurant to impress some internet dickhead. That is what strength is. That's being a man. I think you can take it from me. I'm pretty masculine.
Put down the Fortnite. Pick up a Bible and a hacky sack.
What? What do you mean? Is a hacky sack good to you? Isn't that a hippie thing?
Every time I go to the butcher, I have to walk by the woke coffee shop that attempted to put oat juice in my black coffee. The baristas may desperately want Nick Adams' alpha male to return, but I made it abundantly clear that will never happen. I just left the butcher shop, and you wouldn't believe what I witnessed out front. There were two burly alpha males throwing hands over what appeared to be an extremely valuable Trump NFT trading card. I had to carry my bone-in rib roast. Men who feel the need to lie and misrepresent themselves to the public are beta males.
Hey, I'm calling about my test results. Uh-huh. Is that good? I see. Is it curable? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What do you mean, transition to the eyeball zone? What does that mean? Speak English, Doc. Not all of us went to the University of Manitoba. No, it's a normal university. Oh, that was not condescending. Okay. Oh, I am not overcompensating for the fact that I just got diagnosed with big fart butt disease. The disease that makes you have a big butt and fart.
Hello and welcome to the eyeball zone.
Here in the eyeball zone. Sorry about that. I have a condition. We put eyeballs on small leftist content creators is what we do. I've talked a lot about the Hooters Corporation and the demeaning shorts it makes people wear in this video, and, you know, I don't think Hooters employees are sex workers. They exist in a liminal space between waiter and stripper that gives them all of the harassment of both, with none of the protections you might not expect, but, like, hope for. But don't get me wrong, I'm very much in favor of any kind of sex work when and if that sex work benefits the sex worker. I believe that waiters and sex workers alike should get to decide if they like to wear little shorts. I'm an ally, shorts-wise. I'm a hero. My point here that I'm making in the absolute worst way I could is that I don't feel like, quote, Hooters girls, as they are called, are given sufficient agency within their workplace. That's what ding-dongs like about it. That's also why they get so fucking bent out of shape about Onlyfans, a website where people can go to sell sexual material on their own terms, and also, in theory, other things. But like, fucking, why? Working on OnlyFans is not without its fair share of problems, though, and if you'd like to know more about what it looks like, look no further than Vera Wylde's video, Content Creation to Spicy Accounting, The Journey from Mainstream to OnlyFans, where Vera interviews a handful of creators who pivoted, partially or entirely, to making sexual material on OnlyFans, and what that meant for their life. It's an interesting conversation about the ways that this particular platform has given people a relatively safe environment to do that kind of work, an outlet for some particular feelings or needs, and the ability to self-direct a community, but also the ways that the platform and industry writ large fall short, how they fail the creators that make them their money, and often show outright contempt for them. It's not a comprehensive account of the OnlyFans experience, it's just the candid thoughts of a handful of people making OnlyFans content. It's a very intimate video in the sense that it feels like you're having a thoughtful conversation. Not like, because like intimate also could mean sex stuff. I don't, because in this context, I would understand why you would be confused. But this video, it's not like that. The video follows all of YouTube's terms of service. I don't know. I probably wouldn't watch it at work though. I mean, I would. I'm deeply irresponsible, but it's probably not a great idea. Are you watching this video at work?
Hello and welcome to the Son of the Eyeball Zone.
Here in the Son of the Eyeball Zone, I make nepotistic pleas for the eyeballs to curry favor for my friends and allies. Shaky Hands is a workers' cooperative in Milwaukee that handprints t-shirts and other merchandise. They're looking for like-minded people who want to sell some goddamn shirts. And I know a bunch of you little nerds are content creators yourself, so why not check it out? Or just buy one of their shirts. I don't know. They got a shirt that says autism on it. And I think that's one of the most powerful shirts I've ever seen. What does it mean? Because it doesn't say I have autism or like support autistic people. It just says autism. And like, I don't know. There's something so incredibly badass about that to me. I don't know why. It's like, yeah, good point, t-shirt. I agree. Autism. You're right. Full disclosure, I have some personal stake in this because Shaky Hands, of course, print my t-shirts at thoughtslimeshop.com, so naturally I want their business to continue to do well so that I can continue to sell t-shirts, something, Grumbletum. But they did reach out to me and say like, hey, we could use a bit more business. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think they're okay with me saying that. They need a bit more business. Do you have a small leftist project yearning for power without the wisdom to know the cost? Send no more than one email to thoughtslimeeditor@gmail.com with the word eyeballs somewhere in the subject line. That's eyeballs, not Lord Oculon or any other in-joke, because they use a filter to separate the ones with that particular word. I am so clear with the instructions in each and every video. How do people still get it wrong? And pertinent details such as your pronouns, and perhaps you will find yourself trapped here in the eyeball zone.
Goodbye, good luck, and God bless Hooters, and God bless America.